I'm nothing. Ain't no girl ever beat me one-on-one on my mama.
I was gonna ask you.
Girl beat me one-on-one, bro. I swear to God, I'd never pick up a basketball again.
I remember
Skylar Diggins tried to say she could beat me before. Like, hey, you're not even that good. I was like, girl, nigga, you can't score on UConn. What are you talking
That's
about?
when they stopped being cool.
Okay, so Jeff Teague, right? He's been around the block, seen it all, and usually knows when someone's just chasing headlines. But this time, oh man, this was something else. Skylar Diggins, a total WNBA powerhouse, loaded with awards and absolutely overflowing with confidence, decided she could actually beat him. And I'm not talking about some friendly charity match. Nope, she came in hot with full "I'm gonna school you," Mr. Average energy.
So Jeff run them ones.
She really thought she could beat me. She was like, nobody knows you, bro. Like, you hoop. Nobody cares. Nobody's a fan. Like, I was like, damn.
That's what she was lit to.
Yeah,
so
she was like, nobody cares. You are like regular as hell. You're just an NBA player. I was like, for sure.
And get this, what happened next wasn't just your usual athlete trash talk. Nah. This was a nuclear-grade truth bomb that completely blew open the uncomfortable but seriously undeniable gap between men's and women's pro basketball. Teague, who never holds back, didn't just politely shut her down. Oh no. He went full scorched earth, dropping one of the craziest, boldest lines you could ever hear in this whole debate. No woman would ever beat me on the court, and if it happened, I'd never touch a basketball again.
Just to prove a point.
Like, I'm going to run you over, and then not have no feelings towards
you. Fucking
far.
her sternum up.
Yeah.
Trying to go through.
Now, Skylar calling Jeff an average player was like calling a Navy SEAL just another swimmer. Yeah, you could technically say it, but you'd look completely ridiculous. And Jeff made sure she knew it. But here's what truly made this whole thing explode. It tapped right into that never-ending, absolutely exhausting Twitter war. You know the one. Could WNBA players beat NBA players? Oh boy, the floodgates opened, and Jeff didn't just stop with Skylar, he dragged the entire WNBA into the ring.
I don't think no WNBA player could beat any NBA player though.
Hell no. Nah.
It's over.
It ain't even
I think it's a couple who could definitely be in consideration for sure, depending upon the matchup. But as well, like you said, the physicality is just too.
He flat out claimed that no WNBA player could possibly beat an NBA, G League, or even a men's NCAA player in a one-on-one matchup. What made Teague's comments so explosive wasn't just his confidence, it was how he systematically dismantled the entire argument, point by point. He didn't just target Diggins, he extended his assessment to the entire WNBA talent pool, stating definitively that no woman could compete with any tier of professional male basketball player, not NBA guys, not G League guys, not even mid-level college athletes. Nope, not at all.
I was saying, so Asia Wilson can't beat nobody in the NBA.
No,
that might get spooky.
Not one.
They did a whole.
We're talking bench players, everybody.
No,
nigga.
Do y'all know niggas on the bench used to average 40 in high school? And
what's even more insane is Jeff doubled down, pointing out something that should be totally obvious but somehow still feels controversial in 2025. The NBA isn't full of average players. Seriously, there's no such thing as an average NBA guy. That bench warmer you barely ever see in a game? Yeah, that dude could still walk into your local gym, casually drop 50 points without even breaking a sweat, and make everyone there question their entire life choices.
A WNBA player is not beating the 12th man.
She's not beating a nigga in the G League. She's not beating a nigga in college.
And if that wasn't enough, Jeff claimed that even Bronny James or his younger brother Bryce, both still carving their path to the big leagues, would absolutely wash the best of the WNBA, including MVP Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark. That's like saying you're the queen of your castle. Sure, but over here in the NBA kingdom, even our interns could take you down. That is some serious spice. The uncomfortable truth Teague exposed is that this isn't about skill, basketball IQ, or even work ethic. Nope, it's about raw, unchangeable biological realities. So, Caitlin or Bronny, what's really going on?
Nigga, I'm saying Caitlin would not score a point on Bronny, bro. She might not even get a
So Bronny's beating Asia?
Yes. He gonna kill Asia.
I'm taking DraftKings over on Asia.
I swear to God, Bronny.
You have to understand, the average NBA point guard, even a retired one like Teague, possesses athletic capabilities that exist in a completely different universe from even the most elite WNBA players. We're talking about vertical leaps that absolutely dwarf anything in the women's game, speed that would make WNBA defenders look like they're moving in slow motion, and strength that would simply render any physical advantage meaningless. This isn't sexism, guys, it's pure physiology, and no amount of wishing can bridge that massive gap.
B, like 8 to 11. Me.
It's not that fun.
But 8 to 11, I feel like it's pretty solid. So what do you think it'll be, Josh? Don't piss me off.
And probably like.
And it's not like this debate hasn't happened before. Remember Brittany Griner? She once claimed she could beat DeMarcus Cousins one-on-one. And what happened? Cousins didn't even blink before clapping back, saying, "Whenever you're ready to get embarrassed on camera, let's do it."
Too arrogant. After Brittany Griner claimed she could beat NBA star DeMarcus Cousins, and even called him this.
It's okay, little man.
DeMarcus Cousins accepted the challenge, and his reaction was hilarious.
I'm glad she's that confident in her abilities, but it's also a little delusion.
But it wasn't just him and other NBA players, like KD and Draymond Green.
But here's the kicker, even her own coach, Gino Auriemma, didn't back her up on this one. Gino literally said he'd sell his house withdrawal, every single dime from his bank account, and put all of it on DeMarcus Cousins winning. That's not just a lack of confidence in your player. That's a man practically begging Vegas to set the betting lines.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
It was her own coach who truly made her look like a fool.
I'm gonna go to the ATM and I'm gonna sell my house.
And I'm gonna put all my money on DeMarcus Cousins.
But the reality check didn't just come from NBA superstars. One of the most hilarious moments in this entire NBA versus WNBA saga actually came from a random high schooler. Yup, Sabrina Ionescu, who is undeniably one of the absolute top names in the WNBA, got completely locked down at her own basketball camp in the Philippines by a kid. Not a pro, not a D1 athlete, but a teenager who decided he was gonna play defense like his life depended on it. The clip went viral, and let's just say Sabrina did not find it funny.
This is supposed to be some really, I guess, hotshot Filipino 17-year-old player? Really? And Sabrina Ionescu loses her temper and gets mad? Because, well, he doesn't let her go anywhere here.
Cutting the lead down to 7. Whoa, Keeper, come on. Come on now. Hey, easy. Cutting the lead down to 7. Whoa, Keeper, come on.
These aren't just isolated incidents, folks. They're patterns that absolutely prove Teague's point beyond any reasonable doubt. This isn't about disrespecting women's basketball at all. It's about acknowledging reality. Biological differences in size, speed, and strength matter, especially in a sport where a vertical leap and lateral quickness can be the difference between a clean block and getting dunked on so hard you start reconsidering your career choices.
But there was a little, 1-minute discussion that went on where Asia basically told Josh Hart that she could beat him in a game of one-on-one. So for context, I want to share with you guys this clip.
Score would be like 8 to 11. Me.
Then, the basketball gender debate reached absolutely new levels of absurdity when Asia Wilson decided to drag Josh Hart into this unwinnable war of words. The WNBA MVP boldly claimed she could take the New York Knicks Iron Man in a one-on-one matchup, to which Hart responded with the kind of dismissive chuckle usually reserved for those drunk uncles at family barbecues who swear they could have gone pro back in their day. It's not happening at all, Hart smirked, delivering the verbal equivalent of a shrug emoji.
So what do you think it'll be, Josh? Don't piss me off. Do not piss me off.
I was just about to violate this. I'm about to say,
right.
Man, probably like a.
And just like that, another WNBA star learned the hard way that challenging NBA players to hypothetical matchups never ever ends well for them. Wilson's ill-advised boast sparked yet another round of face palms from basketball experts, who are completely tired of having this same pointless conversation every few months. Analysts were quick to point out the glaring physical disparities that make this fantasy matchup so laughably impossible. Hart's vertical leap alone, nearly 10 inches higher than Wilson's best, would render her post-game completely ineffective.
So as you can see, it's overall a playful banter, but you can visibly see how, I don't know if offended is the right word, but Josh Hart's kind of like, are you kidding me right now? You really just said you would beat me. For context, you guys, Josh Hart plays for the Knicks. He's a starter. He's had a long career in the NBA. He's one of the best 300 players in the world.
Hart possesses elite athletic traits that exist in a different stratosphere from even the best WNBA players, and that's before we even factor in his 40-pound weight advantage, superior wingspan, and an explosive first step that would leave any WNBA defender in the dust. The reaction online was hilarious. Fans and analysts lined up to remind Asia that while she is absolutely dominant in the WNBA, stepping onto the court against an NBA player is an entirely different universe. It's like saying you're the best at driving go-karts and then challenging Lewis Hamilton to an F1 race.
And I could just see a lot of people in her position being like, just having full confidence in themselves, like that's the competitive nature in her. I do think that she's a bit delusional here, and also like maybe the slightest bit disrespectful, because I mean,
experts went in hard. They called her delusional for even suggesting it. And honestly, they weren't being cruel. They were just being realistic. One analyst even said, this isn't even about gender. If Josh Hart played Asia Wilson one-on-one, it would look like a varsity player going against a JV freshman. Ouch. That's the kind of comparison that hurts your pride way more than the loss itself. We've seen this movie before, from Griner versus Cousins to Ionescu getting locked up by a high schooler, and it always ends the same way, with the WNBA player looking silly for even entertaining the notion. Does it?
Doesn't take away from a woman's greatness if they're not able to beat men. That is why we have women's sports and why we have men's sports. There are different categories because there are different physical advantages that men have naturally, biologically, that we don't have, but we don't have to compete with them. We shouldn't have to compete with them, and we also shouldn't be compared to them because it's different.
But the wildest part, Asia doubled down in interviews, talking about how women don't get enough credit, how people underestimate them, blah blah blah. And look, she's right in the sense that women's sports deserve more attention. But picking Josh Hart of all people to try and make that point, that's like saying you can take Usain Bolt in a sprint if you just train harder. It just doesn't work that way.
But when it comes down to a game that's as physical as one-on-one, when it comes down to the speed, the height, the quickness, the defensive abilities, that's where I think that Josh Hart and some of these men, and you have to understand, men in the NBA have some of the biggest egos in the world.
What blew my mind was even Jeff Teague, after hearing this whole saga, just laughed and said, man, what is going on with these WNBA players challenging us? And honestly, he's not wrong. It's become a clear pattern now. First it was Brittany Griner and DeMarcus Cousins, then Sabrina getting completely clamped by a high schooler, then Skylar with Jeff, and now Asia with Josh Hart. At this point, the NBA should seriously consider starting its own comedy show called NBA vs. WNBA Delusion Edition. At the end of the day, Jeff Teague's comments weren't just about Skylar Diggins. They were about the undeniable reality check that so many WNBA to NBA challenge claims run into. It's not hate. It's not personal. It's just the way the game works when you mix two leagues built on entirely different athletic baselines. And whether people want to admit it or not, Jeff's got a point. An uncomfortable, controversial, but absolutely undeniable point. One thing's for sure, this little war of words just turned into one of the most entertaining basketball storylines of the year.